that is very offensive.
That America today is on bended knee in prayer for the people whose lives were lost here, for the workers who work here, for the families who mourn. This nation stands with the good people of New York City and New Jersey and Connecticut as we mourn the loss of thousands of our citizens. I can hear you, the rest of the world hears you, and the people who knocked these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome to TACT Lab. I'm Tyler, and I'm surrounded by three friends, like always. This is TACT Lab, where four guys sit down and talk about pretty much anything. It's a somber episode. Not really something we should make too much fun of or lightheartedness of, but we're going to do 9/11 Day. So I have to be careful with this one.
Why?
I don't want to laugh too much at like Falling Man or...
No. We're not making fun of the people that died at 9/11.
Right.
We're tastefully making fun of some of the scenarios that happened at the same time as 9/11.
Some of the conspiracies, some of the ideas and events.
Yes, we're going to dig into some conspiracies. We're going to dig into some financial numbers. I'm going to give you guys a taste of what some people went through on either their what I would call the death day. So,
$32.3 billion was lost that day.
Oh yeah, yep, about $10 billion was
okay.
lost. $9 billion was lost that day. Well,
9 billion, 11 million?
9
billion.
9 billion. So
11 billion, 9 trillion.
10 plane building.
that doesn't include the life loss. That was just the value of two or three or multiple property buildings. Yeah, so that doesn't include the years of what the effects have on individuals' health after they were exposed to things. So it's actually there's no way you can put a number on the damage psychologically and physically. So with that said, what was that noise?
That was a rat.
Sorry. I've been trying to... Yeah. Okay.
Chupacabra.
Is that the lady that's trapped in the closet under the stairs? Did she just wake up? And you need to go
There was
hit
a bus
her?
of kids missing from Discovery Place. Are they here?
You remember the movie Parasite? Yeah.
Alrighty. The Peaches?
The Asian people that were in the secret basement.
Yeah, there was Peaches in that movie, I think.
Okay.
Well, Alex, you're going to bring us in on some information, aren't you?
I'm doing good.
Oh, we didn't even do that. Who cares? I didn't even say about anything. So, with that said, I have Chris to my right. Chris, how are you doing? I'm just thrown off.
Doing good, man. I thought she only had you for 18 years, but it's 19 years later, and 9/11's still ticking.
It is still ticking. We're still talking
She's a bitch,
about it.
ain't she?
Well, how are you, Thomas?
Pretty good. I just getting along. It was pretty messed up, all those people that passed away that day.
Which day?
Man.
September 11th.
Oh.
That was pretty messed up, but, you know.
Maybe he's like an asshole here in a second.
At least they found the passports to the terrorist.
Yeah, unscathed.
Yeah.
Probably on the street. I think a firefighter picked them right up off the street.
Oh,
They're
look.
just laying there, I think.
Yeah.
There they are, next to a Quran.
Not
And a
dropped
box
hard.
cutter.
Probably dropped by those guys filming it. Mossad.
The Israelis.
The Israeli Special Forces or Secret Service.
Yeah, the guys that were on top of a box truck just filming 9/11 happen. Yeah.
There were professional cameras all over New York City. So how are you, Alex?
Doing good. Do you know the difference between Adolf Hitler and Usain Bolt?
What?
Usain Bolt knows how to finish off a race. If anybody on 4chan wants to fight me, you can catch these hands.
Well, too bad. The only I think Usain Bolt also has COVID now, and they used Kevin Hart's face on a news outlet. I saw that.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
He's pretty upset about
That's-
that.
That has nothing to do with 9/11. Just trying to lighten the tone.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a pile of dead babies and a Ferrari?
What?
I don't have a Ferrari in my garage.
Ooh.
How do you unload a truck full of dead babies
How?
with a pitchfork?
Just one fish for it?
This is the level of content we are bringing to you today.
And
Well, if you want to hear something really funny, I tried to contact her ghost friend Beto the other day.
by yourself?
You had a
Yeah.
seance?
Yeah.
Wait, by yourself?
Yeah.
Or was your girlfriend with you?
No, just by myself. And then he started speaking French.
Oh God!
And then he stopped talking to me, so I guess I lost
It was
libido.
just Alex hiding under the stairs.
you lost libido.
I lost libido.
God. Jesus Christ.
Were you fucking a French man?
He's lost that's a,
It's a bad joke.
I heard the libido, but I don't know why he started speaking French.
I lost libido.
Oh.
Thanks for listening to the podcast,
All right,
everybody.
you ever done a 9/11 on a woman?
No.
Is that like an Eiffel Tower?
Almost. This requires some help. You blindfold the girl and you fuck her from behind. While she is in the middle of a moan, your two buddies come out from nowhere and jam their dicks in her mouth and face fuck her until she climaxes.
Nice. They just swoop in
9/11.
out of the blue.
There's another 9/11. This one's pretty gnarly.
All right.
You tape a firecracker to a toy airplane, light the firecracker, determinedly say the phrase, "Let's roll." Stuff the airplane into the woman's vagina.
Oh, God.
When the firecracker explodes, people jumping
No, not falling, man.
from the 93rd floor.
Was there a photographer that caught that
Oh,
falling
no.
man?
So that's your sex joke for 9/11?
Yeah.
Figure a realistic tone, though, it would be boning the lady across the yard and then getting her pregnant and then pinning it on the Arab guy.
All right, Princess Diana.
I'm just saying,
Yes.
you cause the trouble and you make the guy that runs the gas
I
station
got you.
take the fall.
Make him take the fall
Yeah.
for it.
I thought like the
Then take the
9/11.
pump.
I thought the 9/11 sex move was when you were fucking her from behind on the edge of the bed, and right as you come, you push her off the bed.
Yeah.
Oh, you
That's
make
a
her
good one.
collapse,
She falls. She's falling, man.
but you did it. You pushed her.
But you're wearing a Bush Halloween mask while you do it.
I have a Bush Halloween
I have a
mask.
Cheney one, I think.
Yeah.
The other one I saw was you get it. I don't know if you get the guy hard or let him get hard, but you go to a guy that has a boner and you punch his boner, and then watch
How
it
do
go limp, like the Tower 2 falling.
How do you punch a boner? Do you punch it at the top and really break it in half, or do you
Oh.
just
You
punch
go
it in
from
the middle?
wherever the 75th floor was on the dick.
Kind of
you
on
hit
the
there.
side.
There
Give
was
it a side
100
punch.
floors, solid.
About
Like
3/4 up the
100,
shaft.
106, 107 floors, I think.
We're pushing boundaries here,
You
guys.
give it a good left hook.
Yeah, you're 3/4 up.
You're right below where the cut was for the hood.
Nice.
Right in
The
that
cut
ballpark.
zone.
Where that sensitive spot is.
Wait, were the
No,
Twin Towers
yeah.
were the Twin Towers circumcised?
It was a
They already
solid
punched-
shaft.
yeah.
They were circumcised.
Yeah.
Solid shaft. No extra stuff up top.
Their antennae was exposed.
I was going to say, because the whole tower was uniform. It wasn't like a...
Yeah, there
Oh, it
was no
didn't-
bulge up top.
It
at
didn't do a
all.
Darth Vader on top.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
True.
Spaceballs. Big
True.
helmet.
And then they got degloved.
Well, I'm doing good. If anybody
How you
wants
doing?
to fucking
Yeah, how
ask.
you doing?
How you doing, Tyler?
I just got shafted on that.
You blow up an Arby's roast beef sandwich with an M80 lately?
Beef curtains.
No, everybody sounds good. Everybody sounds like they've had
yeah,
a
but
good
how
week.
are you?
I'm good.
How are you?
I bought a new handgun.
Oh, okay. What kind?
I bought a Springfield.
How about a Sig? Better.
They're not better.
Well, you got a 1911?
No.
Oh. I was saying,
And I bought an XDM in a 5.25 inch barrel length. It's the Elite Precision model.
did you get the 40 or 9?
9, because 40's expensive.
Yeah.
And I think they're fading out with their popularity.
It's funner to shoot a 9. It's cheaper.
It is. Anyways, I think we should all find some extra income and buy a handgun. So we need
Yeah.
Patreon supporters, though,
Yeah.
and the NRA.
It's really hard to keep
Dude,
the lights
fuck
on
the
and buy a
NRA.
gun.
Fuck
at the
the
same time.
NRA. Yeah, we don't need the NRA around. Yeah. I like shooting handguns. I don't want to use it for violence or hunting. I just like to throw heavy objects really fast out of a round barrel.
You know, I like to sling my rifle over my shoulder, put on a trauma plate, and go into the middle of a active.
Riot?
Yeah.
We don't support any of that.
No. It was self-defense.
Well,
Jeez, Thomas. Way to get political.
That's what they're claiming.
I like a good shoot, man. I like a good shoot.
You like a good
time.
shooting?
Yeah,
You like
I
a
like
good
to shoot
shoot 'em
some
up?
pumpkins. I like to blow some stuff up. I like a good shoot time.
You know who likes to blow stuff up?
Al Qaeda.
Al Qaeda. No, Wall
Bush.
Street. Wall Street on 9/11.
I was going to say
You know who else loved
Cheney.
You know who else loved getting blown up?
I like blowing things up.
Donald Trump.
Oh yeah.
Getting that tallest building back.
He did get his bail.
Yeah.
Actually, I heard. Yeah, about that. We'll get there. He actually didn't have the tall spot back. He was still in third.
Talking
He was still
shit.
in second.
That's like being told
You're
a girl
funny and you're not funny.
that,
Maybe.
or like you meet a girl and then like you get the bang on, and then afterwards y'all have a falling out, and she's like, "Yeah, you were like the 5th biggest guy I've been with."
Oh wow. At least it ain't the smallest guy you've been with.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess, but that's the Donald. I'm just trying to compare it to
Yeah.
Donald Trump. Because,
Oh, that would be like her saying you're so big while you're having sex.
Yeah.
and then afterwards
It's huge.
you
It's
tell all your
huge.
friends. She said I was the biggest, and all your friends were like,
she said
"Oh,
I was
shit.
the biggest.
I
All
hooked
your
up with-"
friends.
She said, I
Wait
was
a
the
minute.
No, she said I was the biggest. Wait,
But and then you have to all get your dicks out and compare sizes.
never done that.
Yeah, but which one of your friends doesn't go, okay?
What?
We're not all like, oh, sweet, dude. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, everybody's just
we're
like-
just all looking at you like, yeah, okay.
They're like
Yeah,
bumping
sure.
fists and popping elbows, and it's
We
like,
have a-
dude, yeah, you got
we-
big dicks.
We have a friend. We have a friend who does this. I wouldn't actually call him a friend, but he's really braggy.
I mean, you know, like wearing your BDUs around, like
That talking about being in the service, having a street bike,
oh yeah.
having his facial hair, just bragging.
He's getting married.
Who married that guy?
Some woman.
Let's get him. I'm sorry to derail us.
It's fine.
That's good. 9/11.
It's better. Yeah. All right.
9/11.
9/11.
Somebody call 911. Okay.
Do you know that actually
Well, once again-
happened on 9/12 in Australia?
What? I didn't.
Was
hear
9/11 was it embargoed and had to get in at a higher price?
Yeah, dude, 9/11 actually happened on 9/12.
In Australia,
Yeah.
because of the time
Because they're a
zones.
day ahead.
Oh,
So when they teach it in history, do they even teach it in their history?
Oh, fucking 9/12.
I'm pretty sure that's South African.
that sounded.
That sounded
New
Johannesburg.
Zealand. That sounded New Zealand.
Get your fucking AK.
Don't call an Australian a
Blah,
Kiwi.
blah.
You get stabbed. You're punching a dick.
Once
Make you eat Vegemite.
Well, we should say once again we are making light of a dark situation.
Yeah.
Rest
Yeah.
in peace to anyone lost. Our condolences go out to the families.
Would it be piece or pieces?
Oh God, damn it!
It's not pieces if you're a mist, Thomas.
They're still finding parts of people to this day.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they go. They're
What?
going. They're going through the.
I thought they
rubble.
built a fountain on it, or like just
So all the
hands
rubble,
and fingers just floating up in the fountain.
No, all the rubble they took to a,
They're doing-
location.
yeah,
They
yeah.
still sift through it.
Oh.
Oh, so the victims of 9/11 are actually, there are more victims in China than there are here.
Yeah.
Oh, they're like
They got shipped
where
out
they
to
took
China.
the-
Because they
the
couldn't, they wouldn't
steel.
allow the forensics to operate to look at the material. They hauled it off real fast.
Yeah.
James
Yeah.
Griffin.
Yeah, yeah. That they got to get that recycled material before it rusts up, and so no, they still sift through it. There's still a lot of people that are unidentified, or not found.
I'm
Which-
surprised there's still stuff to go through. You think they would have already done that by now?
There was a lot.
It's
well,
like-
they're finding bone fragments.
Oh, okay. I was about to say that's like when
Like
you
in the
move
gutters
through-
and stuff?
No, in the rubble that they collected and hauled off,
Mm.
they're finding teeny tiny bone fragments, and then they have to identify it.
That's like when a family moves to a new house and 10 years later you still have that one box in the attic. They're like, well, I just didn't really want to unpack all the way.
Or the suitcase that gets sold at the yard sale, and there's a body inside of it, and they're like, I didn't look in that thing.
But somebody bought it.
That was Grandpa's suitcase.
They bought the suitcase and took it out to a river and TikTok danced in front of it first.
Yeah.
It was like the missing neighbor from 1976, the little girl that went missing.
So Sarah, she's been missing from here for 25,000
God.
25 years.
25,000 years.
25,000 25,000 minutes.
What's that?
Well,
What the fuck am I talking about? All right.
respect to the families of the lost,
Right.
respect to the ones lost, respect to the firefighters and police officers.
It was a great tragedy.
Yes,
Yes.
9/11.
It was a great tragedy.
No, like a great tragedy. Not a
greatest-
great
I
tragedy.
thought you were saying it like it was a great tragedy.
The
No.
greatest,
I
the
mean,
biggest.
like great as in like a huge.
I mean, it
tragedy.
edged out Pearl Harbor. So
I was just saying, Thomas did a little duck face when he said great.
I
the
did
greatest-
duck face.
the best,
What did my hair move by itself?
the greatest that any country's ever seen.
the biggest terrorist attack.
The best. You'll never see another one like it.
Dude, I would wonder what would happen if we had. I don't want this to happen, but if 9/11 happened in some similar way, like tomorrow,
Dude, the world would burn down.
and then I want to see his press conference. This was the biggest attack.
He'll get shot on camera.
There would be so many people that would have recorded it. We would have so many more
Yeah.
videos of it too.
I don't know.
From inside the building, from the airplane, from the ground, from
Not if it hit the
everywhere.
Pentagon.
Well,
Thomas, that was a missile with a hologram.
Oh, I forgot they did They did a 747
Whoa,
flyover
so the-
and shot a cruise missile, and then CGI'd the airplane
You
over the
saying-
cruise missile.
the missile was a hologram, but there was actually a bomb planted the whole
It
time.
was a cruise missile.
The hologram
That
airplane.
They CGI'd an airplane over it.
Yep.
There's no wing damage.
I have a cool little tiny story about that. So that's 9/11.
All right, let's go.
9/11.
7:59 a.m.
Starting with the facts.
American Airlines Flight 11, a Boeing 767 with 92 people aboard, takes off from Boston's Logan International Airport, heading toward Los Angeles. 8:14 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175, a Boeing 767 with 65 people aboard, takes off from Boston. It's also headed toward Los Angeles. 8:19 a.m., 5 minutes after the second plane takes off, flight attendants aboard Flight 11 alert ground personnel that a plane has been hijacked. American Airlines notifies the FBI. 8:20 a.m., American Airlines Flight 77 takes off from Dulles International Airport outside of Washington, D.C.
It's the dullest.
The non-sharp international. 8:20 a.m.
It's like all these YouTube videos. 8:20 a.m. The airplane departed from the international airport.
I just
It
think
flew in the sky. It had 4 hijackers on board with box cutters and oven mitts. The passengers on board were unaware of the events to occur this day.
just keep this episode until he just fucking. All right. This airplane is headed toward Los Angeles, also with 64 people aboard. 8:24 a.m. Hijacker Mohammed Atta makes the first of 2 accidental transmissions from Flight 11 to ground control. So he thought he was communicating with the other plane,
Ah,
but he fucked up and alerted ground control.
okay.
What did he say? He was speaking in some sort of.
Some kind of carpet language.
Oh God!
Didn't he talk to him in English?
What? I'm white. I can't say carpet language.
I wonder if he, when he sits down in the pilot chair, if he puts those little bamboo beads on his back
He says
first.
Indian style and just has a little turban.
They could speak English. They trained in Florida.
Hi, lion, taking your airplane to Allah.
He's just like, no.
It's just he takes that
No!
little woven basket, with a little cobra comes out.
It just sounds like somebody who's like helping you on IT.
That's Indian. Well, yeah, probably, yeah.
The
But
airplane
he
has
kinda
been
sounds like
hijacked.
that.
Have you tried turning it on and turning it off
That's
again?
it. Except for not so much.
He probably spoke in his language just so he wouldn't like reveal his secret plan to the people that he had
Doesn't
already
really
probably
I
stabbed.
mean, you're flying their airplane. They know your secret plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you get the doctored conversation. It's just like, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. Ah.
That's what they screamed as they flew it into the building.
We're all gonna die. That's what the white guy behind him was saying, and they took over.
He should have strong-armed him, man.
Well, they did on the one on
So
Pennsylvania.
use that some of that white privilege.
Oh, yeah.
8:40 a.m. Air traffic controllers at the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, alert North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, about the suspected hijacking of Flight 11.
And
They scrambled.
I was gonna say NORAD's like
Yeah.
Right on time.
So they scrambled 2 fighter jets from Cape Cod's Otis Air National Guard Base to tail the Flight 11. They are not yet in the air when Flight 11 crashes into the North Tower.
NORAD's got a checklist.
Yeah.
Yeah, because NORAD found out about the Pentagon plane 3 minutes before it hit.
Yeah.
Well, didn't they plan this all along?
What, NORAD?
There's
They're in on
a
it.
theory that they had, they were doing tests of the same exact scenario. So all the flights were grounded to not mess up the people doing the simulation. So when the actual attack was happening, the people getting the calls in thought it was all part of
The emergency test.
the test.
Because they were doing a terrorist plane hijacking test that day, right?
Yeah, same time.
And they sent some of the fighters offshore
Yes.
over the Atlantic.
Crazy how
Convenient.
that happens.
Convenient.
Convenient.
Very
Yep.
convenient.
Especially when every national tragedy has that.
And they're like, tragic. They're like checking off their scenarios.
8:41 a.m. United Airlines Flight 93, another Boeing 757 with 44 people aboard, takes off from Newark International Airport heading towards San Francisco. It had been scheduled to depart at 8 a.m., around the time the other hijacked flights. So it was delayed because of the hijacking. They weren't certain that it was hijacked.
So they're like, go ahead.
Yeah, they're like, you go on, stagger them.
You're good.
This is a good time to go now.
They did like a check down the aisle.
I don't see brown people.
Look,
8:46 a.m. Muhammad Atta and the other hijackers aboard the American Airlines Flight 11 crashed a plane into floors 93 to 99 of the North Tower of the World Trade Center, killing everyone on board and hundreds inside the building.
43 to 99?
93 to 99.
Oh, I was going to say, dang,
That's a big, yeah.
that's a big old plane.
Okay. So that's the first plane hitting the building.
So that was the first plane that hit.
Yeah, so 8:46 a.m. is when the first plane hits the first tower.
Oh, shit.
8:47 a.m. Within seconds, NYPD and the FDNY forces dispatched units to the World Trade Center, while Port Authority Police Department officers on site began immediate evacuation of the North Tower. So they're trying to get everybody out of that other building while the other one's on fire.
Wait, why would they do that?
Makes you wonder, right? Like,
Wait, why wouldn't they get people out of the burning building? Not
yeah,
the one that's
they started
not-
evacuating the one that wasn't hit yet.
Huh.
Well, I mean, I guess it's one of those you see the building's been hit and it's like, fuck, let's just get everybody out of here.
Yeah. Can
But
you imagine being in the other building, seeing that one get hit?
Yeah.
I'll be the fuck out of there.
it's a beautiful day out here today, Karen.
some of them were told to stay in place.
True. Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care.
Port
what you say.
Authority
I'm going.
handles-
Port Authority, yeah.
Port Authority handles security, policing, everything in that district, and they pretty much actually in the World Trade Center buildings, and some of the Port Authority supervisors were like, "Stay where you are."
It's often safer because you don't crowd everything.
Yeah,
They didn't want people running through the streets panicking.
Yeah, so
I
the,
think
Or
it
you
was
log
the
in-
stairwells,
you log in
Yeah.
the stairwell.
elevator shafts.
so the
that they
important
were-
people can get out first.
Yes, the people with money. People that plotted it.
Yeah,
The higher ups.
8:50 a.m. White House Chief of Staff Andrew Card alerts President George W. Bush that a plane has hit the World Trade Center. The president is visiting an elementary school in Sarasota, Florida at the time.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
keep note of that. 8:50 a.m.
yeah,
is when he is told the plane's hit.
yeah.
Is that when he walks in while he's reading the book? And did you know a weird thing about that? He tells him 11 words.
Really?
Yes. Whenever he tells the message to the president,
Does it take
he's-
9 steps toward him?
I think he took 9 steps towards him. That part I don't know, but they did interview this guy, and I watched it, and they said, "Do
Yeah.
you find it's a little odd that you said 11 words to the president
And
on
I
that
hope he
day?"
was like,
and it's
"No."
like I wasn't really thinking about it. I was just trying to get my message across. It was something like, "Mr. President, a second plane has hit Tower 2 or something like that."
Yeah,
Somewhere it was 11 words.
I think he said the America is under attack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Along
America.
those lines.
Yeah, it was in there.
The U.S. is under attack.
He's like,
or something.
America's under attack. A second plane has hit Tower 2. And then he took a step back so that George W. Bush wouldn't
He was
comment
just,
because he was in front of second graders and media and stuff.
yeah, he was just sitting there with a book open and he was listening to them.
a children's book.
say
He
stuff.
was reading The Pet Goat.
He wasn't
Yeah.
reading. He was listening.
Yeah, he was just sitting in with them. But it's funny. His face and the expression was just like, fuck.
Yeah, he was like, fuck.
Yeah.
But he couldn't panic because it was frightened. He didn't want to scare the kids.
Have you
Yeah.
guys seen that video of the school children? The teacher's like, she's pointing to stuff on the building, and it's the oddest way to teach. She's like, she points to Oh man, it's kind of wild. You should maybe play it because it didn't really make sense to me because they're repeating what she's pointing to, and then George Bush is like, "This was very impressive. I am very, very impressed."
They
And
might not have known.
he asked them a really, really stupid question, like, hold up your put up 5 fingers or something," and he's like, "Impressive," and it's like, these kids are probably kind of.
They're second graders. They know
I
what
could
5
imagine,
is.
like, he's like, I gotta go. The kid's like stuck on goat. He's like, go. And Bush is like, just
Get the fuck on with it, boy.
the fucking second tower's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Like,
he stands up and pretty much books it out of there.
No, he was there for
a while.
like 45, 50 minutes?
Not in that classroom.
No, he was at the school for that long.
Right.
Though.
He walks in that classroom and he's only in there for maybe 5 minutes. And then he's out. Because then he finds out, like you said, about the plane hitting the building. And you could hear a Secret Service. They say, we're going out the way we came in with such a loud voice.
No, he gave a conference at the school after it happened.
Yeah.
He was there 40 or 50 minutes before they got evacuated the president.
He probably went to the teacher's lounge.
Well,
He was getting snacks out of the
maybe
vending
that was
machine.
just
Gotta
Secret
give me a
Service.
pretzel.
maybe that was just Secret Service doing their job, like, walking him out a certain way.
Yeah,
You know,
because
all
that
that's
was a
planned
big
out.
conspiracy in itself, was the fact that he didn't leave immediately after the first or second airplane crash, that he stayed there, and the media had released him there saying he was going to be at that certain school days prior.
I will say they probably were scrambling to figure out what to do with him, too, because, like, they train and prep for a scenario where they have to, like, figure out what to do with the president in
Right.
a moment's notice. And so that was when their job probably kicked into overdrive. And so somebody up top probably didn't do their job the best in that Secret Service organization.
They were having flashbacks to JFK. They didn't want
Yeah.
they didn't want Bush to
Probably.
be up on Air Force One in a 747 just sideswiping.
Yeah.
Some old guys just like, oh shit, here we go again.
Nicolas Cage takes over the airplane. I gotta see my daughter.
They dock that 747 on top of Air Force One and just hook up to it and steal it.
Oh, like Con Air.
So,
no, not Con Air.
no, it's
Air Force One with
Air
Harrison
Force
Ford.
One with Harrison Ford.
I could see George W. Bush be like, "Get off my plane!
Get off my plane.
Get off my plane!"
They all throw shoes at him.
He dodges them all.
He's like, you missed me.
That's the best dodge of any president
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
What?
Who threw the shoe though?
Some fucking
Some guy,
Arab.
he got arrested.
Oh yeah. See, if it was a Latina woman, she wouldn't have missed.
Well, she wouldn't have let go of it.
Yeah,
She'd have
Just
got
like
up
a
there and
shillelagh.
just slapped that thing.
well, that would have been like Captain America. She throws the crock and
Comes
it
back
hits
to
him and
her.
comes right back to her.
Dong.
Captain Boomerang.
I mean, Bush was an athletic guy. He probably could have whipped your ass.
Probably.
Back in his college days, maybe. In that school, he was.
He could have took out like 15 third graders if he needed to.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just gonna kick him.
9:02 a.m. After initially instructing tenants of the World Trade Center South Tower to remain in the building, Port Authority officials broadcast orders to evacuate both towers via the public address system. An estimated 10,000 to 14,000 people are already in the process of evacuating the buildings. 9:03 a.m. Hijackers crashed United Airlines Flight 175 into the floors 75 through 85 of the South Tower, killing everyone on board and hundreds inside that building.
So it was lower, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit lower.
9:08 a.m., the FAA bans all takeoffs of flights going to New York City or through the airspace around the city. So at this point, no flights.
Grounded.
9:21 a.m., the Port Authority closes all bridges and tunnels in the New York City area. 9:31 a.m., now this is also about 40 minutes after George Bush is told about the World Trade Center. Speaking from Florida, President Bush calls the events in New York City an apparent terrorist attack on our country. 9:37 a.m. Hijackers aboard Flight 77 crashed a plane into the western facade of the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. missile, killing 59 aboard the plane and 125 military and civilian personnel inside that building.
That's a very bold statement.
I said airplane.
Yeah, that's a very bold statement, saying airplane into the Pentagon.
There's gas station footage of it happening, Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah,
From an ATM machine.
what was it? 10 frames per second.
2 pixels.
I think a Sega Dreamcast had better frames per
I
second
think
than
Final
that
Fantasy
thing.
7 had better cutscenes than that fucking Cam did.
I think
probably-
the
that's probably
Google
stop.
Stadia
But-
has better frame
but-
rate than that.
If it was Hermes missile, how would it have knocked the?
Did
light
you say
poles
hair
down?
missile?
How would it have knocked the light poles down?
Because it needs a long wing, needs a wide wingspan.
If you look at the footage, the light poles are knocked down
Oh, they are.
from something that would
From airplane.
probably consist of
It's probably the
wings.
Okay.
It's probably the speed and the wind.
I'm just saying, holograms don't knock down light
I
poles.
mean, they had hinges on them, so they fell over when the.
Oh, okay. I like this.
Yeah.
They had to lay the hinges. So what happens is the light posts stand up during the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
At nighttime, they fold down to light the walking paths.
So you're saying they malfunctioned and never
Yes.
stood back up that day?
Yes, they fell down and never went back up because the electricity was knocked out in that grid, in that quadrant of the facade of the Pentagon.
Ah. I still
Put
think
it elegantly.
it's impressive a building that low to the ground got hit directly.
On the ground.
Yeah, but it's like it got hit directly on the wall
Mm-hmm.
and went through the first wall because it's only, 5 stories high or something?
Yeah, it's not very tall.
And I do believe it's impressive that they just happened to hit the financial records office.
Yeah.
Plus the only wall that had actually been turned into a wedge
Yeah.
to withstand a missile attack. It was the only wall.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
When was
It
the
had been-
Pentagon built?
It was converted into a more defensive wall. It still had a similar shape on that side, but they had made it to where it could withstand a missile attack on just that one wall.
That's why the whole side of the building wasn't destroyed. It was just like that.
I just
corner.
assumed it was something satanic.
Well, that's why there wasn't as many people that died at the Pentagon, because that wing wasn't full like all the other wings.
It was like they kind of knew something was going to happen one day.
Strange.
Anyway,
Strange.
I think somebody just went out there and put some airplane wreckage around the blast.
what do you mean?
All right. So on September 11, 2001, 2,977 people died. That included 19 hijackers. More than 6,000 were injured that day. That doesn't include the people that contracted mesothelioma, cancer, breathing problems over the now 19 years since 2001.
Yeah, it'll be a 19-year anniversary.
Yes. So, and they're saying that there's going to be a continuation as the years go by of people that's going to contract cancer. Once again, 4 planes were hijacked, as Alex said. There were 343 firefighters, 71 law enforcement, but most were civilians. I think the interesting thing that I want to talk about is survivor guilt. Some of the stories I want to talk about are survivor guilt.
What is that like? I should have died that day.
Why did they die and I didn't? Or if I would have been 1 minute sooner, or if I wouldn't have picked up my glasses in the lobby, I would be dead. You know, so it's like people think about that. Even people that served in the military, you know, if I would have been 1 inch to my left or a foot to my left, it would have been me that died. So, but then you get into that thing of like, it's not shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's just the way it was. It's luck.
They killed that butterfly when they were 11.
That's what did it.
What, Ashton Kutcher?
The butterfly effect.
Yeah, I mean, you could believe that too.
You could.
Like
Yeah.
it changed. I mean,
There you could. There was these three Greek goddesses called Fate, and then they say that that's pretty much what controls like your destiny as soon as you're born. They all have different names. I didn't write them down, but they're basically the Fate sisters. And
it's Fatty.
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 The Fatty Sisters.
That's mean.
Well, so it basically boils down to luck. And once these survivors that had survivor guilt started to realize it, they started to deal with their depression and their survivor guilt better once you start to look at it as luck. But some of these people didn't survive that I'm going to talk about. So one guy in particular, Joseph Lott, survived. He was into ties, the kind you tie around your neck. and he loved them so much. And so a coworker of his got him one when she was on vacation. She gave it to him while he was up at the very 106th floor at the World of Windows restaurant. He was there for a speaking event. He was speaking. So he really wanted to wear his tie during his speech, but it wasn't going to go with his T-shirt. So he went back to his hotel room to change his T-shirt and change his tie. And while he was away, the plane crashed into the building. It killed Elaine Greenberg, who gave him the tie.
Oh.
I heard the food was to die for.
It was that day, baby.
He was trying to wear that tie. You know what he was really trying to do?
What?
He was trying to get in.
You think he took the tie and tied it around the handle and
no,
asphyxiated himself?
He was like, wait. He walked out of the building and was like, wait, this chick's going to be there. Let me get the tie she gave me. Maybe I can get a little.
Too bad he's wearing it with a T-shirt.
So,
he's just trying to get a little extra piece.
I mean, great that guy made a decision to go back to his hotel room, and that's the decision we all wish we could make. Right?
Unless he was like a pedophile or something.
I don't know that. So, anyways, Michael.
Just saying.
Michael Lomonaco was the chef at the Windows on the World. So he normally tries to get to work by 8:30, but he stopped to get new eyeglasses in the shopping center in the lobby.
Likely story.
So he can see it better.
So he could see through the windows better. So because he made that decision, he was late. He didn't die, but 72 of his coworkers were killed that day. Jared Kotz, another worker at the World of Windows, the only reason he survived was because he went. He noticed there was something missing, and he was there for the speech. And he went and noticed there was a board that was welcoming guests. There was something missing. So he offered to return to the office to get it fixed. He said bye to everybody. He'd be back in an hour. He headed down the elevator, walked into the office, and called his London colleagues to let them know that everything but one box had arrived. It was 8:46 when he made this phone call. And he was thinking to himself, I have plenty of time to get back downtown before the event starts. And I was talking to one of my colleagues in London when he heard the first plane go over, ultimately crashing into the building, killing all of his colleagues that he had just said bye to.
So it was World of Windows?
World of Windows. So imagine going...
It's like a restaurant?
Surrounded, 360-degree view of windows. Okay. It's a restaurant. It cost $17 million to make. It's on the 106th floor. You have to have a jacket on as a man. You make a reservation, you show up without a jacket, you got to go to the bar to eat. Or they'll give you a jacket so you can sit at the table you reserved. It's a super, super hard place to get. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's pretty much only
fancy.
Reserved for Trump and his buddies, pretty much those type of caliber.
So we
guys.
couldn't reserve. We probably couldn't afford to eat there.
But Trump wouldn't eat there.
Actually, Trump was not into the people at the World Trade Center. He was kind of enemies with the firms at the Trade Center.
He'd be eating a Trump steak at his own place.
Trump steak,
but Trump caliber type of people. No, there's no way we could afford the food there. No way.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like a superstore for Windows.
Oh, okay. You're thinking it's think World of Windows had 5 floors and they just were calling and fucking selling.
Come on down to World of Windows. Come on down. We got windows. We got mosaics. We got stained glass. We got everything you need.
Is your dad home? And then your dad picks up the phone. He's like, "Sir, we got a really great deal on some windows.
We got a blowout sale on windows happening today. We got
a blowout sale.
Yeah. These things are crashing through."
Jesus Christ. Prices are falling.
You're not going to want to miss this.
This one's kind of sad. So this guy, he was David Kravitz, and he was a broker. One of his clients showed up without their ID down at the lobby. Right. Security wouldn't let him through. So
we don't know who you are, buddy. You just come here every day.
Pretty much. So he needed to be checked in at the security desk. So normally he would have sent his assistant down, but she was 8.5 months pregnant. And so he figured he would go down there down there and handled the problem and saved her a trip.
Oh.
She ended up losing her life, and he was down in the lobby, and he just walked right out when the plane crashed.
See, that would make you feel like an asshole.
That's
like,
survivor guilt.
It's a good deed at first, but then by you not doing what you normally would do, you fucked that other person.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't me? Oh shit! It was my iPad.
Oh, this one's kind of cool for this lady.
I'm
So
just messing with you.
Monica, who worked for the Cantor Fitzgerald, survived because the firm had laid her off 24 hours prior to the plane crash. So she would later rejoin the firm after the attacks because all of the human resources personnel who would have processed her layoff were killed. So she was never even taken off payroll.
Nice.
So she had a free day off, and then she
Yeah.
got her job back. Check, please.
Yeah.
So,
Gift that keeps on giving.
this is pretty interesting. Nicholas Renner was supposed to have been aboard American Airlines Flight 11. His ride home from Boston, old Boston, to Los Angeles.
Boston.
But after he vacationed in Maine, but he twisted his ankle while hiking in the Bahaba, and he missed the flight. So, wasn't that Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Jeremy Renner?
Jeremy? No,
Yeah.
this is Nicholas Renner.
I don't know.
I don't
know.
Boom.
Yeah.
So,
Musician brother.
So same thing happened with Seth MacFarlane. He had a ticket to return home after he was at a gig in Rhode Island, but the travel agent had mistyped the time on his itinerary, and he showed up a few minutes late to catch his plane. Never made it on the plane.
That's a disservice to humanity.
You don't like Family Guy?
That was actually a ploy by the Illuminati.
They keep Family Guy around.
No, that was a ploy by the Illuminati to have Family Guy canceled.
Oh, and it didn't work out in their favor.
Yeah.
Wakanda, whatever.
It was one of those, like you said, he was supposed to be there on Flight 11. But he was hungover because he was drinking a whole lot the night before.
Oh, was it?
Like a Boston.
So
Like an asshole.
he got to the and
We're talking about Seth MacFarlane,
yeah,
right?
Seth
Okay.
MacFarlane. And like you said, his travel agent told him the wrong time, so he missed boarding the airplane by 10 minutes that day. He was 10 minutes late and
And I bet the plane hadn't even taken off. So we're
Yeah.
talking about
it was just
some
boarding.
He was either a total fucking asshole to the.
Oh, he
They've
was-
been like, you can get on the plane.
He was hungover as fuck.
If
He was
he would have
probably
been
like,
nice.
Yeah.
he's like, don't you know who I am? So fucking Seth MacFarlane.
He's
Let
walked
me
in
alone."
talking like Brian.
Don't you know who I am?
Is that Stewie?
Yeah, Stewie.
Oh, that's true. So yeah, since he missed it, and being known for Family Guy, he missed that airplane and he would have died. But did the Illuminati actually plan for him to be on the airplane to die?
I mean, I don't know.
And as punishment for missing the flight and not dying, they canceled Family Guy in 2002 and sold the rights to Cartoon Network.
Yeah, but dude, he had how many seasons did Family Guy have? He cashed out.
Yeah, but okay, this happened in September.
Then he did
and
Ted.
then not even a few months later, it got canceled off of Fox.
Then he did Ted and Ted 2, and then he also did like
Yeah,
How the
it
West
came-
Was Won.
It came back to Fox.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
still on Fox.
Yeah, that was him sucking the Illuminati's dick to get back in their favor.
Please,
I'm pretty sure Illuminati would have just had him killed anyway.
Yeah.
No, this was just like a
Why would
Get up.
so you saying the Illuminati orchestrated 9/11 to cancel Family Guy?
partly.
Yes,
No, they didn't orchestrate it to cancel Family Guy. They were trying to kill Seth MacFarlane because he was becoming too successful and stepping out of line.
So they caused 9/11 to try to kill Seth MacFarlane.
And others. And others.
Wait,
among others.
Are you saying they paid hijackers, but the hijackers went too far? The hijackers, like, they lost control of the hijackers.
tone it down.
No, it was a ploy because of the because 9/11 was actually a big thing with the stock market, the economy,
Yeah.
the building,
Yeah,
the CIA
lots of people
cover-up,
lost jobs because of 9/11.
In a cartoon.
the cartoons. But since Seth MacFarlane missed his airplane just by happenstance, the Illuminati was like, "We're gonna fucking cancel your show. Don't do it again."
Oh, our death plot failed, but
it's like Final Destination
would've
type
killed
thing.
him.
So wait, they used
But it
that.
has to be a
They
cover
would
up.
have still got him on the plane.
Did they use 9/11 like, you see what we did? Okay, fuck up again. And
You
we're-
will be a part of it next time for sure.
There's
They-
like
they would've just-
3,000
they
people
would've just-
dead.
Kept that flight going and just put him on the next one and crash that one.
They're like, look, 3,000
Maybe.
3,000 people died, okay?
Family Guy's still on the air.
You're lucky. You're this close.
Hey, Family Guy almost
This
didn't.
close, Seth.
If Cartoon Network hadn't picked up Family Guy, it would have gone in the shitter. I'm a firm believer.
And he would have been like, "Oh, big deal. Oh, big deal."
But then he never would have made the Ted movie.
I'm so rich. Oh.
That's a good impression of Stewie.
So this is another one. This was at the Pentagon. An Army lieutenant actually felt the impact right under his feet. The floor below had the impact, whether it was a missile or a Predator plane or a
Predator plane.
747.
That's one of fucking, yeah.
Yeah. So he said the plane came into the building and went right underneath our feet, literally by a floor. Where everybody went and how they got out of the room is very unique because those are where decisions are made that are fatal or cause injury or cause mental fatigue or great consternation. I seriously thought that said constipation.
It probably did.
Probably did, yeah.
So you could probably get constipated with enough stress and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that
Hell of
would
a
cause
headache.
some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably couldn't shit the next day. So
This-
anyways,
You would give somebody constipation if you put them back on an airplane days after 9/11.
you got to unplug them. You know, you need a good pipe reaming. So a bunch of my office mates that were in that meeting went in one direction and unfortunately didn't make it. The person that sat to my right, the person that sat to my left apparently went out the door and took a right, and they went into the E-wing where they apparently perished. A decision to go in one direction or another was very important. For this part, the colonel paused for a minute to rescue a colleague, Martha, and thus was just a few steps behind the others leaving the damaged conference room. In the smoke, he and Martha, Cardine's her last name, he and Martha turned left instead of right. Ultimately, this decision saved their lives. So
What happened right?
I don't know.
They probably just caught fire.
Do you think they may have gone so far
They fell
that
in.
the building caught fire, trapping them to
And
get
it's-
back through?
and
Or
smoke inhalation
If it was that
and stuff.
smoky, they just turn right and the floors collapse.
They just
I thought they just walked in. They fell into the fire.
They're just like they all just go over a cliff.
Well, that's what happened. That's what a bunch of the falling people were.
Yeah,
Is they were
Yeah.
running out of the smoke, didn't realize.
towards light.
Yeah, there's no. Didn't realize there's no wall anymore.
They weren't
Well-
physically jumping. They were just like, fuck.
They ran out of the smoke,
And-
and when you get out of the smoke, you're out of the building.
Well, I did see some of those falling people that were literally like clinging to the outside of the building,
Yeah,
and
that's
it
bad.
looked like one guy was like, and he like falls. He was like, it looked like he was trying to shimmy down the building.
I was trying
Yeah.
to Jackie Chan down that shit.
They're pretty sweet if you actually could do that.
Could you imagine? You
Yeah,
get
how
all the way to
badass
the
should
bottom,
be?
you get your foot on the ground, and you're like, "Fuck!"
Dude, you could like trump anyone. You can go to any bar, any party, and trump anybody's story.
Can you imagine the New Yorkers watching you come down? Like, come on, buddy, you
They're
got
like-
it. That's like New York. That's New York in a nutshell.
Dude, you get your dick sucked every day for like ever.
Oh, man, but he didn't make it. He was like clinging, and he slips, and then he tumbles, and
He probably got pushed by somebody gasping for air.
there was a lot of people. There's a lot of people like flapping their
this-
shirts out of broken windows.
Those people aren't the only people there. There's like 20 rows of people behind them.
yes,
True.
gasping for air.
Should've-
So
they
when
should have wrote an
panic.
office chair down.
the
Just-
bad
yeah.
thing is when with every window that gets broken out, that's more oxygen rushing into the building to feed the fire. So it became hotter and smokier with every window that got broken out. And there was a lot of windows getting broken out. People just doing anything they could for fresh air.
Roughly 1,000 degrees for 10 minutes.
Oh, I mean, like the 911 calls were ridiculous. People
Right.
were describing this terrible scene over the phone, talking about how hot it was there. Yeah, I mean,
But yet it still wasn't hot enough to melt steel.
I feel like you were going to do a Jay-Z impersonation there. I feel like it was hot enough.
See, never sleep, slip you an Ambien.
The city never sleeps.
York.
The city never sleeps. The metal never melts.
My Jay-Z impersonation is way worse.
I didn't. Well, so
What?
Which
The
he
inter-
is part of the Illuminati.
Why didn't somebody just put on everybody else's clothes and just have like this big thing of
Well, some
clothes?
people tried to parachute.
Just jump out.
Oh, they
like
just use their
holding their
jackets?
button-up shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying they needed a bouncy. Oh,
You
yeah.
put on everybody else's clothes, you're like this with like 300 layers of clothing and just jump out. Like the fat bitch from Willy Wonka.
Or the fat
the blueberry.
the fat skiers from Jackass
Yeah.
on the first season. Yeah.
That way when you hit the ground, you just come out of clothing.
Dude, some people tried to parachute with curtains.
Curtains or button-up
And
shirts.
If only.
The wind, like, just
Ripped
ripped the
Ripped
curtains
it
out
out.
of their hands.
The wind was... Okay, so...
They should have double plot them.
Thomas, will you pull up the Falling Man picture? So that Falling Man guy was actually getting his shirt ripped off of him.
Oh, really?
This photographer was taking pictures of him as he fell, and that picture ended up being in the Time magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So that guy's picture, you can literally see it getting ripped off of him
As he's falling.
as he's falling. So this one is the Falling Man picture that made it into the Time magazine. As he falls, he goes from a beige shirt to
Like a salmon.
like an orange shirt under, and so you can see
Salmon.
some of his beige shirt is back onto his black pants, and some of it's back on his neck. They were falling at 150 miles an hour.
Yeah.
His family should sue Gravity for molesting him.
His family was actually very grateful for what happened to him.
What, the picture or the fact that he jumped?
No, he didn't burn to death.
He didn't burn to death. They were
probably
like
passed out.
they were like God's hand grabbed him before he hit the ground and took him to heaven. Like they made peace with
I don't know
what
about
happened.
that. The devil's face was in the fire.
Well, the devil didn't get this man. The devil he jumped from the devil. So but yeah, you fall at
Proof is
100.
in the smoke.
See, that's actually faster than terminal velocity. Terminal velocity is in the 130s.
How do you
So
go faster than
You,
terminal
you can't go
velocity?
faster than terminal velocity unless you have like
You're right.
boosters on.
Or you like turn into a pencil shape, but I don't
No,
know.
you still go terminal velocity.
Well, they say that people were falling up to 150. I don't know if forensics and like impact zones showed this, but
it was a downdraft.
yeah,
I
maybe.
guess that could have been.
So they said it was a 10-second fall,
Damn.
depending on
That's
which.
a hell of a fall.
That's a long time to like make peace with yourself, and it was probably a pretty peaceful fall.
10 seconds is way shorter than you think.
Count to 10. It's pretty far. It's a pretty long time to fall.
When you're falling like that, time would slow down
And your
for
mind's
you.
racing.
I would hope that you just like
Have
pass
a heart,
out.
Just give me,
Yeah,
pass
something.
me
It
out.
wasn't fast enough. I mean, if
Yeah.
you passed out from anxiety, but it wasn't fast enough to pass out, they say.
What about having a heart attack? Your
Yeah,
heart explodes.
don't know, but the impact was fast enough to kill them instantly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
So,
I mean-
at
yeah.
least,
You wouldn't feel that.
at least some of us, at least most people wouldn't have peace knowing that these people died instantly on impact. Now, it sucks for the firefighter that actually got hit by a jumper.
Oh yeah, that would kill him.
Sack
too,
of
right?
potatoes right on you. Yep.
Yeah, that probably killed him too.
Yes. So, and there was actually,
I'll catch you, buddy.
we need a hose over here.
bring all the bagels.
It's like
So-
the generic 1920s where they're holding the trampoline thing. Just jump, just
You land
jump.
beside it.
So there's actually a video where a camera's pointing down at the ground, and there looks like there's a gazebo area, and there's like 8 holes in this gazebo.
Oh, wow.
And then all of a sudden, you just see another hole, like produce a hole,
Damn.
and then
The body.
there's just another person, wham, right through that thing.
Man,
So, and there was the craziest thing is there was no one on the side of the building where this camera was pointing. There was no foot traffic, nothing. But there was bodies riddled all over the front of or the back of the building, wherever this was. There was just like red
Yeah.
body splotches all over the pavement.
yeah,
But,
it's
so-
just a splat.
Yes. So,
You know they have a video game about 9/11.
no,
Yes, they have a 9/11 virtual reality VR.
that you actually choose to jump or
You can choose to be in the airplane or be in the stairwell.
well, no.
In the airplane.
Yeah, you can either be in the airplane that gets hijacked or you can be in the stairway that's on fire. So
What do
you either
you
die
do?
from smoke inhalation or you jump.
What's the VR experience on the airplane? Like you pick
You
up a
just
phone and
ride.
call your fucking mom, and then it goes black.
The airplane is just you going into the building.
That's not an
And
experience.
you're just sitting there
see
just
it?
like,
How do you? Are you like the
It's VR
Are you
headset.
like the
You're a
pilot
person-
tied up
No,
behind
you're-
the
you're a-
hijackers? How
you're
do
a
you see the
civilian.
building?
Like, do you look like the guy that goes stonks? You got the little pilot hat on.
Is
A
it
tourist.
like right before the plane flies into the building? Does it go third person so you can see the building, or do you
No,
just
it's
see
VR.
New York whipping past the windows?
For some reason, in my mind it's the graphics of like 95 Windows when it's like the tunnel thing. Like,
like Flight Simulator 92.
yeah.
Oh, the very
Like,
first flight
The
sim.
floor's green and like the seats are red. It's just like MS 95.
Still
Like,
loading in.
No, it's a thing.
Well-
There's no way to win. It's just an outcome.
high score. It's just like what? Yeah, fly the airplane through the building, actually get through. It should have.
Make it.
The nose came through the other side of that one
other
building.
side.
Somehow.
Oh, I got one more for the whole fate and luck thing. So this guy's name was Mike. He actually ended up dying. He was a lieutenant with the fire department. He went all the way up to the 40th floor
Damn.
of the North Tower. He was literally working his final hours with the New York Fire Department. He had just signed his retirement papers the day prior. So he had served 24 years of service, and he actually lost his life on this last day of service.
God,
How crazy is that?
that sucks. I mean,
But-
that dude's tough as nails.
I mean,
Gotta
yeah,
say that.
he was doing his job till the last day, and that's commemorable.
Yeah, because he could have said, "Fuck it, I'm retiring in like 8 hours anyway."
Yeah.
That'd be some shit. You retire like fuck it later, guys, and you leave, and then your whole platoon or
The whole truck
your
dies,
truck dies. Yeah,
Yeah, so,
or they call it ladders.
Ladders, yeah.
yeah.
you know,
I mean-
is it beneficial that he probably passed away with doing what he loved and with the people that he
probably
liked
build
to
his
be
legacy
with?
better
For the
yeah.
people that run the pension, definitely.
Well, his family got paid.
Easy to sell that thing.
His family got paid.
Yeah, he got. I hope they got compensated for that. At least
Yeah.
in
I
some
mean,
way.
that or they got mesothelioma, they get compensated. Like OJ De Mayo.
Well, he died too
Yeah.
quick to get mesothelioma.
That's true. So we already established when the second tower got hit at 9:37 a.m.
Right.
At 9:42 a.m., the FAA ground all flights over or bound for the continental United States. That shut down 3,000 commercial flights and 1,200 private flights.
So we were like in second period then.
You were in second, but yeah.
I saw it in the library.
Yep.
Where were you guys?
Going to band class.
I was in English class.
For some reason, I remember being in the library.
I did go to the library.
I was
Yeah.
in the library. I saw it happening on the library TV.
Yeah, they turned the TV on in English for about 15 minutes, and I was like, "What?"
But if it was
what's going on?
band class, that probably was with Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapses.
9:59, it collapses.
Yep.
Not quite 10.
Not quite. They couldn't make it 10 o'clock. They were like nipping the bud. 10:07 a.m., after passengers and crew members aboard the hijacked Flight 93 contact friends and family, and they learned about the attacks in New York, they mounted an attempt to retake the plane. In response, hijackers deliberately crashed the plane into a field in Somerset County, Pennsylvania, killing everyone on board.
Bravo
So those
to
are the-
those people on board.
Those are guys that like they learned about it, like fuck these people.
So we probably stopped playing Grand Ole Flag at that moment.
Yeah.
In band.
Fly you fools.
Windward Point. 10:28 a.m. The World Trade Center's North Tower collapses 102 minutes after being struck by Flight 11.
So they had a solid 2 hours. Held on.
They tried.
And between this time and about 3 o'clock,
Blow it.
you have Rudolph Giuliani doing his stuff, building up his platform to make a presidential run later. You have 1 p.m. President Bush is in Louisiana doing his speeches to boost his campaign for his next reelection. At 5:20 p.m., yeah, Nick Cheney was involved.
Cheney's just like
Cheney's just
over
pulling
the
the fucking.
he's over the dynamite blow the thing like
He's doing it. Yeah,
Let me do it already, god
says,
damn it.
says Acme across it.
Blow it. TNT. Let's blow this popsicle stand.
So at 2:51 p.m., the United States Navy dispatches missile destroyers to New York and Washington, D.C. So they're pretty much going to shoot down anything else that comes flying in.
oh wow.
Planned on it.
they got air to air surface missiles in
They're
downtown
waiting.
New York now.
About 6 hours later, at
Took them long enough.
At 5:20 p.m., The 47-story 7 World Trade Center collapses after burning for hours.
Yeah, that's
The
one.
building had been evacuated in the morning.
That's
And there are no
building
casualties.
That's the one. Cheney was like,
Though the collapse forces rescue workers to flee for their lives.
Yeah.
It is the last of the Twin Towers to fall.
You know what? I'm going to give that one a pass because half the firefighters are dead.
Yeah.
Never thought about it like that.
They never really explained how it caught fire, though.
They said that it was rubble from the towers falling.
What about the other buildings between them?
So exactly, and so they said that it was the top floor caught so much damage that it failed and fell, and then it started a structural fall, which
Yeah.
tells me it would have been a fall from the top down.
Yeah.
But what you actually see is a fall from the bottom, and it just
Yeah.
pancakes on top of itself. So
See, Oklahoma City did the same thing.
Oklahoma City, the bombing,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
one
well-
that took out half of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they blew up in the parking garage or whatever, or next to the daycare or whatever.
Yeah, and it took off like half the just
Yeah,
like
but
scrubbed
it fell the
face
same
off.
way.
Yeah. So that
they tried to say that Building 7 was from the constant fires and that the water mains were cut off from the collapse of Tower 1 and 2.
Yep.
So the sprinkler systems failed.
yeah, the
So you
spring-
have Twin Towers, Building 7's over here.
It was about a football field away.
You got all these other buildings between it.
Mm-hmm.
But all this shit just went, whee, to here. Call
Yeah.
that one on fire?
there
none
was
of these fell?
there was
Yeah.
no damage to the top of that roof whatsoever. No holes,
Yeah.
nothing.
They want to say that column 79 was the one that failed, which caused some of the other floors inside to pancake, which caused an internal collapse.
But what hit 479?
They were saying it was from the fire and from debris coming in through the building, and that was the
So-
weak point.
Yep. So there's gravity. There's tanks on top of these big towers, and those tanks handle like half the building,
Mm-hmm.
and then the bottom half is handled by the city water. And they said that all that shit got fucked up. All the top shit got fucked up, and then the
water.
main lines from the city got messed up and couldn't put out the bottom floors.
Hmm.
But it doesn't show that in a video. And Thomas, we can probably play the after
Yeah.
you're done. We can play Building 7.
And if Chris, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Building 7 had all the financial reports.
There's a bunch.
CIA
CIA
stuff
data.
basically linked us to any stuff we had involvement with terrorists,
Mm-hmm.
selling weapons, giving them aid under the table.
So remember, 8:50 a.m. that morning, Bush was addressed that the towers were hit.
Yes.
So that's the first time he was publicly known about the hit. It wasn't until 6:58 p.m. when Bush returns to the White House after stopping in Louisiana and Nebraska, which you could say that he was being flown around to keep him moving.
So they couldn't pinpoint his
Right.
location.
8:30 p.m., almost 12 hours to the dot. President Bush addresses the nation, calling the attacks evil, despicable acts of terror, and declaring that America, its friends, and allies would stand together to win the war against terrorism.
It was just instantly, just like, hey, terrorism's killing
And
us.
the speed in which they passed the Patriot Act
Oh, yeah.
tells you that this was already in
that,
motion.
Yeah, that snapped heads because, I mean, this second stimulus thing has been going on for months.
Well, I mean, it helps when $2.3 trillion just immediately disappears
Yeah.
in flames.
And
The
politicians
records of
were
it.
like strong-armed to signing the bill to pass it.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't be a patriot if you don't sign the Patriot Act.
Doing the same to the BLM, they're doing that like, yeah, you're not American if you don't sign this.
So, like Bush said, I hear you, America hears you,
Yeah.
and the people that did this, they're gonna hear
And everybody's like, fuck yeah!
Now the CIA hears your phone calls.
Like half the senators that passed it didn't even read it.
It was
That's-
amazing they had
yeah.
it drafted so quickly, too.
That's what everybody says. Odd.
It was already drafted.
It was already made up. It was ready to go.
There was
Anyway.
a lot of patriotism in 2001 September. After that, the
Yeah.
Yeah.
country banded together. It was like fucking after. It was like World War II after Pearl Harbor
it was like
happened.
fuck yeah. The point they always make a big deal about George Bush throwing that first pitch out at the Texas Rangers game. I just roll my eyes at it. And I'm like, fuck Bush, but everyone's like, it was iconic for the country. It's like getting back together.
I
It's
don't
like,
really remember that.
Yeah, it's like publicly beating up Muslims in the street too. It was like,
yeah, we were even like beating up Kurds.
Yeah,
I'll
everybody
leave
in
it
America
shows-
was like anti-Muslim.
If you were brown, you're fucked.
Yep.
yeah, even Mexicans, Hispanics
Yeah.
got it just because nobody
I think it's still now. People still kind of look at
Not as
getting back
not
to
as
that.
bad, but
You could just play this.
It's
We
bad.
don't need to
Remember, I
worry about
dressed
the
up as
audio.
I wore a turban to school.
you were a culture vulture in 8th grade. Yes, you took advantage. Now look up Oklahoma City.
You hear that guy? It's gone.
Dude, it's a clean fall.
yeah, it falls straight down.
down.
Building 7 just cleanly falls down, just perfectly.
Well, the Twin Towers do the same thing. They go straight down. Also,
It's a lot messier.
it is messy. That was a clean demolition.
That's perfectly-
collapse. Sorry.
That perfectly falls. I mean, and they said that it fell from the top, failed from the top, and it was a domino
weight.
effect. But that does not show a top down failure.
That's from the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, it disappears from the bottom into itself, into its own footprint.
Yep.
It's really hard to listen to people, experts, and then the
NIST, the NIST.
the data that was done by the government. It's really hard to listen to them and give you a reason why it happened.
Could be a possibility that they had info on kind of like we allow Pearl Harbor to happen. Mm-hmm. We knew that 9/11, the two Twin Towers were going to get hit. They allowed it to happen, and they took disadvantage to actually destroy that building.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
And
didn't
then
they
do the Afghanistan stuff.
What time did you say that building was reported? Tower 7? Because wasn't Tower 7 reported falling like 10 or 20 minutes before it actually fell?
This says 5:20 p.m. is when it
Collapsed?
collapses.
So let's listen to this. Ready?
Ready.
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing. And indeed it has. It seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that
BBC?
from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
It hasn't fallen
Well,
yet.
only really what you already know. Details
literally
are very,
standing
very
up
sketchy.
behind her.
As you can see behind me, the trade center appears to be still burning. We see these huge clouds of smoke and ash, and we know that behind that there's an empty piece of...
Presumably there were very few people in the Salomon building when it collapsed. I mean, there were, I suppose, fears of possible further collapses around the area.
So it had not fallen yet.
And they're saying that it had.
It had, and he even go. I thought maybe it was a confusion with World Trade Center, with the real World Trade Centers. Maybe the BBC got it confused with 7. But then his next statement was there wasn't a lot of people in the Solomon Center when it fell, which means there's no confusion. He was literally talking about World Trade Center 7, knowing that it was fully evacuated, whereas the towers were not fully evacuated. So there's no confusion there at all.
Right.
So this is actually a firefighter talking about that.
Kano, we are on the phone with New York Fire Department Lieutenant David Restuccio. Lieutenant, where are you right now?
I'm at the corner of Northmore Street and Greenwich Street.
Can you confirm it was number 7 that just went in?
Yes, sir.
And you guys knew this was coming all day?
We had heard reports that the building was unstable and that it eventually would either come down on its own or it would be taken down. I would imagine it came down on its own or it would be taken down. I would imagine it came down on its own.
Or it would be taken down. It's like he knew they were going to take it down. Like somebody prepped him.
Word on the street, we'll have to take it down if it doesn't fall on its own. That's pretty much what he's saying.
Well, they also, the AE 911, the architects and engineers that formed their own little society about this, they researched into it and said that if the beam, I still think it's beam 79, but whatever, if that beam was the one to collapse, then the building would have not fallen straight down. It would have teetered and fell sideways because of the structural damage. And even the NIST, their computer model of the pancaking floors causing the beams to collapse and buckle showed the building cave in through the middle, when in reality, when you watch the building, it topples straight down from all 4 sides.
Yeah. Oh, perfectly.
Yeah. Like it was perfectly all the support beams were all at the same time.
All failing at the same time so it could fall clean.
Yeah. And not to mention the demolition squibs that you can see protruding from the building before the blast.
What do you mean? That's just the floor to the glass blowing out.
Yeah, that's just the air pressure, yeah.
Well, so, I mean, this
and then all the CIA documents that were inside of the building.
Could you imagine all those papers just flying around willy-nilly on the street?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted, like a firefighter to pick them up or, just like top secret documents. Like that's I don't understand how that, like that. I'm on the fence about it because to destroy top secret documents, maybe they put fucking a big old bomb on those filing cabinets.
Well, did you also know that in the Jewish community, there was roughly 4,000 people that took off work that day, even though it wasn't a major holiday. It was just a normal Monday. And if you also pay close attention, some of the very first film and video footage of the planes hitting the tower was mostly presented by the Jewish community.
You know who the person that won the bid to make the memorial was Jewish? Michael Arad.
Oh, I'm looking at Tower 7. You can see the roof kind of.
The roof buckles a little bit, and then the tower just free falls.
And then when you see the end of it, though, the tower also kind of collapses on its side. It doesn't fall straight down.
It mostly does, though.
Okay. So you're a believer that it fell naturally like on its own.
You're watching a CGI representation.
Look, watch the very end of the GIF. You see the tower twist.
So you prove to yourself that it is a legit fall. That everything that happened was legit.
9/11 happened as they tell me it happened.
Okay.
Dude, that falls like an accordion, though.
It's straight down.
I mean, what happened at the bottom to fail?
You see the top does fail.
The
whole building buckles.
Yeah, the theory that
it doesn't look right to me.
Okay, the main theory
the pancake happens faster than you're thinking.
Yeah,
it's like pancakes. Like the whole building's going. And then it starts collapsing.
Yeah, NIST had said that the ground level floors inside the building started pancaking, and then the outer shell of the building just went.
I mean, that's a fucking terribly designed building. Then, if it's just gonna fail like that.
Yeah.
It was like ready to fall in on its own.
A regular fire would have torched that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I mean,
you could have set a fire inside of it to fail.
I mean, they'd still have firefighters to fix it. And
well, still, the fires could have only burned up to like 1,500 degrees, and it takes way more energy to burn steel.
True.
Or to melt steel.
It melts the bolts that holds the steel together, Thomas.
Well, they wanted to say that it was the expansion of the floors that made the bolts crumple. Because of all the heat.
I think it's more of you heat the metal up so much it became soft and it falls on its own weight.
I was trying to look
It don't actually melt the metal.
Then why did they find molten metal in the rubble?
Thermite. I mean, that's just for the stuff exploding.
Well, then wasn't there the P.T. Barnum fire back in 1865 that pretty much went through the whole downtown district of New York and like
None of the buildings fell.
None of the buildings fell.
Or the Chicago fire, 1886, whatever it was.
Or like some fires in Dubai and some other countries. And
that was building standards at like an early age.
Yeah, they had it's like the MGM Grand or whatever in Vegas.
How tall were they back then?
I mean, they're not 100 floors tall, but that was
like 40 or 50.
What year was it?
1865.
Well, in Vegas, that hotel building caught fire, and they renovated it, and they still use it. It's like the MGM or something.
And there was a Chicago fire where there were pretty tall buildings. But you're right, Chris. Like, there probably wasn't 70-story buildings. But
they survived.
Yeah. And it could have been also a thing of the fact that when they built the building, they paid off some of the inspectors and put in cheaper materials, and it was like, hey, just let us fucking pass it. And they, okay, see.
Well, Jesus, man. I mean, if you're building a 106-story building, good God, you really can't skimp on like cutting corners. I mean, think about that. That thing sways in the wind. If that thing fell over.
Well, they said they released a video in January that got taken off the internet that the experts and people who had actually built the building and architects said that it could withstand a hit from a 747 airplane. That it could withstand impacts up to like 600 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. But then they retracted that.
They took the video down when 9/11 happened.
I think they said that the planes that hit it were actually bigger than what it was designed to take.
I'm sure. But why did they remove the video a month before 9/11?
Well, yeah.
Probably crunched the numbers and found out we lied.
Yeah.
So the buildings in New York in like the 1880s
Right.
were between 20 stories and 40 stories.
See, that's what I was thinking of, like the Flatiron Building.
They didn't fall, though.
No.
They just burned, and then skeletons were left behind.
Right, and then they just build it back on the same
Like human
structure.
skeletons.
But they
and
didn't take a
metal
they
skeletons.
didn't take a plane to the side and it just ruptured and melted
And you
everything.
can see the Wright brothers coming in, hitting it.
That paper airplane.
Here we go, Warval. Get your red marker ready.
Now, I'm not saying that these conspiracy theories, I don't really fall to one side. It's interesting, the conspiracy theories.
Right.
And then it's interesting that
You don't fall to one side,
well,
You go
it's-
straight down the middle.
north or south tower.
it's interesting that terrorists were able to get as far as they did.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's it's believable, but it's also not believable at the same time for me.
Yeah. What was
So-
it you said earlier today, Alex, that the terrorists were boarding the plane with box
Yeah,
cutters?
there's cam footage at the airports where the hijackers were walking onto the airplane with box cutters clipped to their back pockets. You can see them in the cameras.
Like a tactical, like how we wear knives.
Just a box cutter.
They
Just
had
like
a-
open carried.
Yeah.
In 2001, was that cool and normal?
Back in the day.
Back then you can carry box cutters and small knives on airplanes.
Yeah, like back then you could go in and say hi to a pilot.
Yeah.
Or they bring the
good
kid
days.
into the
I think you could smoke on an airplane at one point.
You could bring a bottle of
They
water
still
on
have
there.
those smoking buttons
Yeah.
on the airplanes.
Yeah. That's stupid.
So
Bring a gun on a plane and shoot a hole in it.
We are duly appointed U.S. Marshals.
Where were the
Right,
U.S.
Leonardo.
Marshals during 9/11?
They weren't.
probably specifically not on that aircraft.
True.
Yeah, they had a day off.
Like, where were they though? They were,
There should be an air
there was-
marshal on every plane.
You ever
maybe
heard-
that's why Pennsylvania went into a field.
You ever heard the term "take a break, boys"?
Well, let's see.
And do the plane marshals have guns?
That's the rumor. I don't know if they do have guns.
Oh, I mean, you think if you seen some guys coming up with box cutters, he would just say "F it" and
Dude.
start doing something.
Liam Neeson had a gun.
Maybe he was not the greatest marshal. Maybe he froze.
He was sleeping?
Fight or flight. Maybe he flight.
Literally.
Maybe he crashed.
Okay, the U.S. had just 33 full-time air marshals on 9/11.
Oh, that's not a
And
lot.
you have 87,000 flights in the country.
Oh wow! So
They increased the amount since then. But at that point, could you imagine being an air marshal? That's kind of prestigious.
That would be a
Yeah.
badass job. I bet
You're one
that
of 30
was-
people.
That was probably
I'm
back in
guessing-
the Western days of being an
It's like
air
a-
marshal.
You're like a
there were
super
none-
cop.
So none were on 9/11 planes.
No.
No.
It doesn't sound like it.
No, it doesn't seem like
Unless that one in Pennsylvania had one.
They might have one on that one.
I feel like we'd hear about an air marshal that helped out with that. I feel like because we know the death lists on all the planes, we could probably find that
Yeah.
after a few minutes of searching.
Did you guys know that in the weeks leading up to 9/11 that they were doing construction work on the elevators on the North and South Tower? Mm-hmm. That's where they were planning the nanothermite that was used to bring down the structural integrity of the buildings.
Yeah, we're fixing the brakes on the elevators.
The elevators were not effectively able to be used that day.
Yeah,
So that helped trap people inside the building.
there was apparently a lot of departments that were being renovated
They were-
leading up to it.
They're trying to say that it was a planned detonation, knowing that the airplanes were not going to be the only thing able to bring down the building.
Because it's only like 7 years since the basement bombings and 9/11.
Something
Yeah.
about that since before 2001.
And apparently those basement bombings, that one took out a pretty fucking large chunk of that basement
I'm saying,
foundation.
you
And
think about it, 7 years ago, that'd still be on my mind doing something like that,
Yeah.
working there.
Yeah.
But then they fixed it, and the building didn't fall from that. So you had to think an airplane hitting it. Yes, if the airplane hit it and the other 20 or 30 floors above it pancaked, the building falls.
It had like 3 buildings. It's never happened in existence. And 3 buildings all collapsed on the same day.
Yeah, I can give North and South Tower, the main buildings, the fact they got hit by an airplane, I can give those a little bit of credit for falling. Because that's fucked. You get
it's
hit by
just
a fucking
the
airplane.
chances-
But Tower 7,
The chances of all of them falling
the same day.
the same day, the same way, is just crazy. The odds are just so high. The odds are so
Yeah.
high.
At least on the Twin Towers, you can see from the plane crash, the floors fall from the top. and then it pancakes down.
Yeah.
At least you can see that. It falls from the impact site.
Thomas, do you want to play the mattress ad?
Well, a mattress store in Texas is sparking massive outrage over its TV ad for a 9/11 sale, spoofing the collapse of the World Trade Center. The company calling it the Twin Towers sale. Take a look.
Right now, you can get any size mattress for a twin price. Store-wide sale all day long.
They just knocked over a pile of mattresses.
Wow, the store has a...
Yeah.
I think the little "we'll never forget" at the end is what was icing on the cake.
Yeah.
I like the guy's reactions.
That's like fake banana peel fall.
Yeah, that was a bad call on that little PR.
Do any research, see if they're still open.
There's not many mattress stores come and go. I would imagine they're done for. They're probably popped up another one in their place.
So did you know that the Illuminati may be behind the events that are happening this year because of the near miss of September 11th, 2001? So far, the Illuminati has shown strong support for celebrities such as Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Britney Spears. We've talked about this before in previous podcasts. But it is also known that all celebrities have to follow the strict guidelines before reaching an A-list status to be part of the elite group. So in September 2001, there were a few celebrities that had some close calls with death due to the planned attack on the Twin Towers. So I believe that these people were meant to be there on that day. And part of the casualty list is because they chose to go against the wishes of the master organization or the all-seeing eye. And that's where we'll pick up next week.
Nice. All right, so we got our first two-parter. Yeah. So don't get discouraged. Come back next week. Here is the second part, and enjoy it. We're going to bring you some more facts, more fiction next week, some more fun conspiracies to talk about 9/11. We're going to finish this thing up, wrap it up, and
come back next week because we'll figure out why 2020 is fucked and why the devil caused the Twin Towers to fall.
Dude, $20 bill, Twin Towers collapse.
Flip it over.
Twin Towers collapse fully, 2020.
Oh. And you know what's even better? The way you fold it makes it look like a paper airplane.
Yep, it does.
Yeah. So come
flying
back.
into 2020.
We're going to talk about the devil in the smoke.
9/11 warned us of 2020.
Yep. We're going to talk about some who made out like a bandit on the insurance on the trade centers, and how much the new trade center costs to build.
Who made bank on the stock market?
And we're going to say that Kobe dying in a helicopter crash is to bring on Obama as the Antichrist.
Well, Kobe probably joined the Illuminati with old Black Panther. But next week we're also going to hit you with
Chad Boseman is the second level of Obama.
We got a little bit of a Trump interview from 9/11. So yeah. With that said, don't become an extremist. Don't hijack an airplane, and don't fly it into buildings. Just masturbate and think about it. You know, like
or be Jewish.
You'll probably get it out of your system. If you just jack off, everything leaves your system. So any urges, whack off. So with that said, what do you got, Chris?
Man, never forget.
All right.
And Dale Earnhardt died before 9/11 happened.
Oh, tragedy!
Oh man,
3 for Dale.
So if he would have lived, 3 buildings.
What do you got, Thomas?
Shit. Well, I don't think any airplanes actually were used in the attacks of 9/11. I think they were just cruise missiles with holograms and CGI things over them. The news was in on it, and there's a secret airfield in Pennsylvania.
How dare you? What do you got, Alex? Oh. Alex is over here looking for the perfect outro to hit us with. Leave us a like. Leave us a review. Tell your mom and dad. I mean, my mom hates it. Thomas's mom hates it. Chris's mom hates it. But, you know, send your sisters our way.
What about Alex's mom?
Well, I don't think Alex is going to show his mom. So I didn't show my mom. I just know my mom would hate it. So my dad did ask me how he can listen to it. And I was like, Spotify. He's like, what's Spotify? I was like, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Get out of here.
What do you got, Alex?
It's been a fudge strike, Mom. Why are 9/11 victims the best readers?
Why?
They can go through 94 stories in seconds.
94 stories.
Nice.
They had a nerve on that one. He's not laughing. I don't like that one.
He's a little shook by that.
You don't like that?
94 stories in 10 seconds?
Stories. Yeah.
The world of Windows.
The world of Windows was a place to be. I wish I could have experienced it while it was still around.
Look, the potential of Thomas's stories have me shook.
I've got like
It's a
almost
doozy.
4 pages of conspiracy
I can't
about
wait.
celebrities and the Illuminati in 2020 and from 2001.
I can't wait. We're going to come back and do
Yeah.
this, and it's going to be
Yeah.
always going to be right with the world. The Earth is going to stop for a week, but
Mark-
we're going to
Mark-
get back to it.
I will
your
say,
calendars.
Mark Wahlberg said that if he was on the flight, then he would have punched the terrorist and landed the
Oh,
plane
God.
safely.
Kind of like you did to that Asian boy?
That was an actual quote from Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, he destroyed an
All right.
Asian man's face.
He said, I would have beat them up and landed the plane safely and said, we're getting out of here.
He would have landed the plane.
Yeah, but that's next week.
you do
What?
it? Can you
Why?
say that in his...
How?
That's next week.
Why?
I would have landed the plane.
You got to come back next week,
Hey, man,
everybody.
why'd you bring a box knife on the plane?
Well, send us your questions. If you have questions you want us to
Are you not
answer,
trying to hijack the plane?
send those in. Send us pictures.
Any coordinates?
Send us a review, a
those
like.
the Twin Towers?
Send us a picture of your asshole. We're just looking for anything.
And your opinion on the Patriot Act.
I'm
Yes.
Or
I'm
the
a-
New England Patriots.
Freedom fries!
I'm 100%
Dude, freedom
serious.
fries were the shit.
I'm
Even though
100%
they're
serious.
fuck French fries. Fuck France. We don't want
Why?
surrender fries. We want Patriot fries.
Stupid freedom
Yeah.
fries.
Well, we are 100% serious. Just reach out to us. We have someone we got to mention.
Oh, yeah, good old Jason.
Hey, bud.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Hey, Jason.
Jason. What did Jason do?
He is a loyal member of the TACT Lab community.
Oh, I didn't
He's,
even know we had one. Where is that located?
It's in the underground bunker 3 levels below my basement. It's a hive facility. He
It's-
is test subject number 73A.
Yeah, sounds like you have a bunch of captive hostages down here.
It's
That's where the
next.
kids for Discovery Place went.
I heard a kid scream a while ago.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's
That's, thanks, Jason.
And Donald, I see you liking all the stuff on Facebook.
We notice that stuff. That's a lot of hard work. You show up and you show specific, like you listen to the episode and you like those pictures and videos that are directly,
That's a lot of hard
reflective.
work. So the other 8 people listening,
Step up your shit.
yeah, you're being a bitch. Stop.
Yep, and we are
Fucking get on your game. Come on.
This is
We aren't doing this for free, bitch.
We're most of the time offensive, so I'm sorry if we offend you, but
I'm
just
not. Fuck you.
give
do
us
it.
a chance.
We're telling you to do
You
it
sound
every
like-
week. Do it.
You flipped. You sound like me when I was like starting this thing. So
Fucking do it, Karen.
But
Fucking do it.
yeah, if you're offended, then step off. But don't be so offended that it's offensive to you enough to write a review. We're offensive. It is what it is. Just don't listen anymore.
Yeah. If
But-
you don't like it, just fly an airplane and. Oh, no.
Fly your own airplane into the ground.
I'm just mad at people that run in the middle of the street.
Yeah, ride their moped at 35 and don't move.
It pisses me off. People that, especially when there's a sidewalk next to the road and they just jog in the middle of the street coming toward oncoming traffic. And they
They're
don't
supposed
move.
to.
They don't move.
They're supposed to jog towards traffic.
You get on the fucking sidewalk out of the road.
How can they get a hold of us, Thomas?
All right. If you're listening to the show, this is TACT Lab. You should know that by now. But if there's people you know that don't listen to the show, tell them. Hashtag TACT Lab. Tell them
Yeah.
to search TACT Lab on Google.
I want to meet your sister.
You've met my sister.
I'm talking to the audience.
Oh. I thought you were talking to me. You looked at me like,
I want
to tell your wife.
She listens.
So, yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Feel free to send us any sort of anything. We would really appreciate it. You can also support us at patreon.com/tactlab. That's where you can throw us a buck. We got some extra content. We're thinking about maybe putting a T-shirt on there. We just need to kind of gauge everybody's stuff. Alex has had some great, the best people, the best everybody making some merch. And we really appreciate that, too, so thank you.
Did these come from China?
The best shirts. No.
If they did, you'll be sick next week.
So wait for some merch. Hopefully we got some of that coming down the pipeline. Alex's amazing wife designed them, printed them.
Fancy material.
They're sweet.
Yep.
So
She
you
did
can
a great
also
job on designing.
Yes.
She actually took it upon herself to make the shirts. out
Kudos.
of the goodwill of her heart.
Major props. Shout
She's
out.
just posturing for some moolah later.
Don't get it wrong. We still paid a premium for these shirts. They are that nice, and
Yeah.
you're gonna want one.
Just wait, we hit, and then she drops the bomb. Cease and desist.
Yep.
You ain't using my logos anymore.
Well,
This is an LLC now.
once again, thank you for listening to
Oh,
TACT
man.
Lab. We enjoy every single person that listens.
We also have a Gmail. It's tactlabpod@gmail.com. TACTLABPOD@gmail.com. Thank you. Fucking comment and like.
That's where we need the butthole pics.